Hello and welcome everyone to this video. In this video, we'll be going through the video series. We have already started a video series. If you haven't watched the previous videos, okay, I would definitely like you to, ask you to watch those videos. Now, previously we have already covered tube command. We have already covered sweep along guide command, okay, and we have already covered variational sweep command. Now, after those three, we are building up, to cover the next very important and major command, which will be again divided in several videos, and this is known as swept command. Okay, and this is one of the very important command inside NX. So today we'll be taking care of the swept command, and we'll be not completing it fully, okay, but we'll be learning some part of it. Okay, so let us start understanding swept command. And if you haven't watched my previous video, I would definitely like you to go and watch it so that you can clearly understand the difference between all the three, and along with swept, what exactly you can make. After completing this video series, I'll be making an example, okay, using the set of commands, so that you can understand what exactly you can, how exactly you can use this set of commands to make certain complex diagrams. Okay, so let us start with swept. Now inside the swept command, if I just reset the swept command dialog itself, we have something called as sections and we have something called as guides. Now here in section we have a plus button. That means we can use multiple sections. Okay, in section we have a plus button. That means we can use multiple section. In guide also we have a plus button. That means you can use multiple guides. In all the previous commands which we have learned in tube or in sweep along guide or in variational sweep, we can only have one section and one guide. But here we can have multiple sections and multiple guide. The rule remains the same, that the guide should not have corners. Okay, the guide should not have any sharp corners or sharp turns. You should have a tangentially continuous segment. Okay, so here in sections we can select either 1, 2, 3 or how many we want to, but in guide we are limited to 3 maximum guides, so we can only add up to 3 guides. But in section we can add up to multiple sections as in when we like. Okay, so let us start by understanding the simplest part first, that is how to select the section and how to select the guide. Now to do that, I'll first make a section and then make a guide. So for this example, I'm creating a sketch on the top plane, and here I'm creating a very simple line. Okay, and let's say we will give a length to this line of 400. So here I have created a very simple line of length 400. Now I'll click on finish. Now I'll click on sketch, and now I'll create a sketch on the side plane that is perpendicular to my previous sketch. And here what I'm trying to do is I'm going to create a L-shaped geometry. Okay, so here I'm trying to create a L-shaped geometry. Now here I'm trying to define some dimensions. I'm making this and this line equal to each other. Okay, I'm giving this width of 50, this of 200, and let's say this of 160. So this is what I have defined so far. Okay, so I'll click on finish. Now as we can notice, this can be simply created with extrude. This is just to understand why exactly or how exactly we are going to use sweep. Okay, now we have 2 sections here. I'll go to swept command. Okay, so that will allow me to create a swept. Now here in sections, okay, in sections I'm going to choose the selection technique or the curve rule. I'm going to set the curve rule to connected curve. Okay, so here my curve rule is set to connected curve, and I'm going to select this curve. Okay, simply. Okay, I'm going to simply select this curve, and here in guide I'm going to set the curve rule to single curve, and I'm going to select this line. And as we can notice, we are able to create a sweep. So just by selecting one section and one guide, we are able to execute sweep command. Okay, now let us understand one very important thing when we do sweep. Now if I zoom into any corner, you can notice the corner is been removed, or you can say the corner is not present. Okay, other than that, typically they have tried to, or the software has attempted to create a fillet, but it has failed to. Okay, so technically what is happening is the software is not creating a very perfect L shape here. Okay, why is it happening? Because of this option called preserve shape. Now whenever I activate preserve shape, the corners are maintained. Okay, and when I deactivate preserve shape, the geometry is made up of splines. Okay, the entire geometry is made up of spline if I deactivate preserve shape. If I activate preserve shape, it is made up of lines and arc. Okay, so whenever you activate preserve shape, the splines are ignored and you will create a geometry with lines and arc. And if you deactivate preserve shape, or you can say if you want to maintain the corner or if you want to maintain the shape, you can say preserve shape to be on. Okay, otherwise you can keep preserve shape off if you don't want to maintain it. Okay, but for sharper objects like this, I have to maintain the corners, so that's why I likely keep preserve shape on. Okay, now once we understood how to use the sweep command in a basic way, let us understand the more important part of using the sweep command, that is how to introduce multiple sections. Okay, so we have just used a single section and a single guide, and we have understood what is preserve shape. So I'll just cancel this command, I'll delete the previous section. Okay, one thing I'll do, I'll edit this section now. Let's say I'll create one more angular line here of length 400. Okay, angle is something which I don't want to give, but I'll just give it of, let's say, 30 degree, and let's try to create a sweep here with these two sections. So I'll go for a sweep command. Okay, here we are going to face one problem. So here I'm selecting the section as a connected curve and the guide again as a connected curve. Okay, but there's no preview generated so far. If I try to click OK, some curves in the guide section are not tangentially continuous. So this is what message we are getting. Okay, so what we need to do is, in order to create a sweep, we have to create a fillet here. Okay, let's say I'm creating a fillet of radius 500, a bigger fillet, and now I can try to create a sweep, and now it will work. So here I'm selecting this as my section and this as my guide, and now the sweep is working. And we already know what preserve shape will do. Preserve shape will try to maintain the corners while doing so. So something like this can be easily created with sweep itself. Okay, now you might say, okay, we can do typical things with sweep along guide, which we have learned in the previous sessions. Agreed, but there are some things which we can do only in sweep, which we are going to learn now. Okay, so now let us introduce the specialty of sweep, that is adding multiple sections. So first of all, I'm going to create a sketch on the same plane in which previously I have started my sketch. Okay, now here I'm going to create, let's say, a polygon. Okay, so I'm creating a polygon. Let's say I want my polygon to be horizontal, perfectly horizontal, and I want my side length, let's say, to be 200. So here I've created a proper polygon. I'll choose to finish. Okay, and I feel the polygon is too big for my liking. So what I'll do, I'll select my sketch from the left tree. Okay, so I'm going to change the size of a polygon without going into the sketch. So I'm going to select my sketch here. Then I'm going to click on details. Okay, I'm going to click on details, and here change the value, let's say from 200 to 100. So very simply I can change the size just by going to details. Okay, now here I have a polygon of size of side length 100. I want to create one more polygon over here, slightly bigger. What I'll do, I'll go to sketch, I'll choose on path, I'll select this path, and I'll drag it up to the forward most point, or that is the 100% of the sketch. Okay, of the path. So here I'll click OK, and now I'll choose offset, connected curve, and I want to offset this by 20 mm outside. So I'm here creating an offset of 20 mm outside. So I'll click OK. I'll choose to finish, and this is how I have added a second section. Okay, so if you want, you can also add two sections. It can be two similar or non-similar sections, but for now I'm just adding two similar sections. Now what is the meaning of similar section? Similar section means having same number of segments. So for example, here we have 4 segments, or sorry, we have 6 segments. Here also we have 6 segments. So as of now, we are working with 2 objects having similar number of segments. Okay, so I'll go to sweep. Okay, now pay close attention here in selection of the section curve. Okay, in the selection of the section curve, I'm choosing connected curve, and how I am selecting is going to be very important. Okay, in section curve, I am selecting the top line from the left side. Okay, I'm selecting the curve from the top line on the left side. So to make it easier to understand, I'll go for a single curve selection. I'll select the top line first from the left side and then continue the selection. So technically, this is my starting curve, and this is the direction in which the selection has been done. Correct? Same goes with connected curve. So if you change your way of selection, let's say to connected curve, so I'll just change it to connected curve. I'll select it from the top left corner. Okay, and we can see it is starting to create a loop like this in this direction. Now to add another section, okay, to add another section, you have to click on this option called add new section. So once I click on this option called add new section, then I can add another section as I want to, and I'll try to keep it similar. So again, the top left corner and top left corner are both the origin curve. Origin curve means the starting curve. Okay, Now here I'll select the guide as this line, and we can clearly see the sweep is getting performed. And technically my size of the polygon is changing from a smaller to a bigger one. And this is something which we cannot achieve in most of all the commands which we have seen in the past. Okay, now one thing we can do here is I can select either section 1 or section 2, and we can respectively change the origin curve. In this condition, the section 1 origin curve is this top line, and the section 2 origin curve is also this top line. So if I want to change this origin curve of section 2, so I can select section 2, I can select specify origin curve, and then select this as my origin curve. Now by doing this, I can create a twisted output. Okay, just by changing the section curve itself, I can create a twisted output, and this will in return allow me to create most complex diagrams very easily. Okay, so section 1 origin curve is here, section 2 origin curve is here. Let us cancel this. Okay, and I'll add one more in the center. Okay, I'll add one more section in the center. Okay, so let's say I'll go for a sketch. Again on path, exactly at 50%, suppose. And here again I'm creating an offset, but this time inside by 20 mm. Okay, so I have a section smaller, and I have also a section which is bigger. Now I'll go for swept. Okay, I'll select my first section. I'll click on add. Then I'll select my second section. I'll click on add, then I'll select my third section. Okay, and inside guide, I'm going to select this line, and we can typically see how it's getting performed. Okay, now I can go in the sectional list, select section 1. Section 1 is fine. For section 2, I can change my origin curve to this location, and you can see now it is connecting like this. For section 3, I can change my origin curve to, let's say, even further location. So it is connecting somewhat like this. Okay, now again, the connection can be altered. Like I can have a linear interpolation, as you can see over here. Okay, just above preserve shape, we can have a linear interpolation. That is how it's going to look like. If I choose cubic, it's going to look a little smoother, and if I choose blend, it is going to look perfect. Okay, so in this case, linear is going to, just for an example, differences between linear, cubic, and everything else, I'll just change the origin curve back to its original position. So here I'm changing the original curve to its original position, like how it was initially. Linear means straight connection, as we can all see, straight connection. Cubic means smooth connection. Okay, and if I choose blend, means an arc connection. Blend option will only work if you have 3 sections. If you have more than 3 or less than 3 sections, blend option will not be there. For example, if I remove the middle section, okay, you can see there is no blend option. You do have linear and you have cubic, but we don't have the blend option. Okay, now to add the third section again, I can click on add, and I can add this one. Now technically what is happening, section 1, then this is my section 2, and this is my section 3. I can use this arrow to make this section 2. Okay, so I can reorder the sections as and when I want to. So here I can choose cubic or I can choose blend. I hope you understood the first part of blend, that is how to change sections, okay, and how to manage interpolation, how to add multiple sections, and with a single guide. In the next example, we are going to understand how to use multiple guides. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching. Have a great day.